Welcome to episode 183 of Explode Your Expert Business Show, brought to you by gtex.org.uk. I'm your host, Simone Vincenzi, the Expert Strategist, and this is the podcast for experts who want to become the ultimate authority in their niche while making an impact in the world. And today, I have the pleasure to interview Noah Laith on how to create partnerships with the top 1% of the industry. But before you go, I want to tell you that about our retreat in Thailand. We have created a 100K experience mastermind in Thailand in January 2019. It's the best place where you can relax, have a great time, create memories while growing your business. We're going to help you expand your brand, grow your audience organically and with paid advertising. We're going to help you scale up your business, your operation, give you the best software tools and systems, and also teach you how to sell in a scalable way. It can be through webinars, seminars, and or hiring salespeople, like we have done in our company. We are partnering up with the one and only Desislava Dobreva, the branding queen. She's going to be there too. So you can find the link in the show notes. Make sure you click the link so you can learn more about our 100K mastermind experience in Thailand, which is going to change your business forever. Now let's go and get back to the show. Noah is best known for his ability to source deals at below market value prices. So Noah has been very successful in the property field, and over the last 25 years, he went from being a political refugee to building a real estate asset management fund, and is now actively investing in numerous countries like Thailand, Croatia, South Africa, Estonia, UK, and Spain, where he is a managing partner of Riereta Equities. And through his career, Noah has been subject to trials and tribulation that so many investors experience. But on top of the investment and property investment deals that he does, then he also collaborates with the titans of this industry. And he was able to get book deals, to go to seminar and speaks alongside with the top 1% of the industry. You know the biggest names like Les Brown, like Brian Tracy, is always around them. And I met Noah at the Freedom X Fest, where I was speaking at. And the Freedom X Fest is an incredible festival all around remote living and remote working. So how does it work if you want to work and live wherever you want in the world? Incredible festival. I invite you to check it out at Freedom X Fest. And I met him there. I was speaking there, and Noah was one of the speakers in the seven-figure panel that they did. And I was blown away about what he shared. And I said, well, I gotta have him on the show. I need to have him on the podcast. And in fact, in this episode, we talk about how to create book deals with top authorities. We talk about how to network and get them to notice you, and also how to leverage the exposure that you get when you partner with a titan of your industry. You can read the full transcript of the interview, get the bonus resources at www.gtex.org.uk/183. And also you can connect with Noah. I highly recommend you to connect with him. Now, this episode was recorded basically in a remote village in Spain throughout the festival. And while we were recording this episode, it started raining like crazy. So halfway throughout the interview, you might hear some rain in the background. That's what happened. It was a very strong rain that happened while we were doing the interview. But the information that you're going to receive are mind-blowing. So make sure you listen until the end. Again, if you want to make a presentation, make six-figure presentation, become awesome at selling from the stage without compromising your integrity, then I've created the ultimate selling from the stage checklist. There is a link in the show notes. Make sure you get it, because I believe that selling from the stage, selling from webinars, selling from seminars, is your ticket to financial freedom. It is indeed. It made a huge difference in my life. It made a huge difference in my business. Just finished last weekend a 3-day workshop. We made about 130 grand with 10 people in the room. And the ability to being able to do this consistently not only allows you to work with amazing people that are invested in their success, but also allows you to scale your business and as well serve more people, because now we have amazing people that we can work with and we can help. So it's a win-win in every situation. So make sure you get the checklist, the Ultimate Selling from the State checklist, here in the show notes. Without further ado, it's time for me to let you listen to the interview, because I can hear you saying, like, Simone, shut up right now. Okay, I'll shut up. I'll go. Now, let's welcome Noah Laith on how to create partnerships with the top 1% of the industry. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a brand new episode of Explode Your Expert Business Show. Today, I'm here with the one and only Noah Laith. How you doing, Noah?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Okay, so we are here at the Freedom X Festival as part of the Visibility Hub. That's where we meet. We are meeting right now. It's a beautiful location. We are just here overlooking the mountains in a private hub. It's fantastic, and it's the best setting for this interview. I couldn't hope for a better setting. So we're going to talk today about connecting with authorities in your industry and collaborate, writing books with them. But I'm talking about the monster of your industries, as Noah said before, the dinosaur of your industries. And this is a great topic, so make sure you listen until the end. Now, before we get into that, Noah, can you please talk us about why did you get into it? Like, what made you start writing books with Brian Tracy and all these people?
So the industry where I am in, which is like business and investing, is a industry where you meet in a lot of places amazing people. And if you've been doing it for such a long time, like I've did it for now almost 20 years, once you achieve a certain point in your life, you want just to give back. You want to help other people to not make the same mistake and to give them a shortcut. Even I don't believe in shortcuts, but at least to not make unnecessary mistakes. And books for me are kind of my mentors, has always been my mentors, because usually the writers are high qualified people in a very tiny problem. And because when I went to a lot of events and gave a lot of speeches and courses, some of these people I got acquainted and became friends with them, and that's how we started writing books together. The thing is, once I started to write books, I saw actually the massive impact it had on my audience, on my clients, on my business partners, and that's why I discovered that actually every person, every authority can do the same and steal this gold nugget and use it to empower their audience and their clients and themselves.
So, what was the first book you wrote? Do you remember the title and what was it about?
Yeah, so the first book I wrote is with Brian Tracy. The funny thing is that when I'm originally from Baghdad, from Iraq, and when we arrived in Netherlands, we were political refugees. And I remember I was in the refugee camp, and all the books were in English, and I didn't read or speak any English, but I could read French, and there was one book in French, and it was Eat That Frog from Brian Tracy in the library of the refugee camp. And I read that book, and I was hooked since 12 years old into the self-development industry. And through him, I read Richard Bandler, Anthony Robbins, and everything that has to do around self-development. And 20 years later, I met him through a mutual friend, and I told him the story, and we became friends, and we decided to write together a book. And the book is about. So what I do is crisis investing. So I buy assets, distressed assets in countries with problems, with challenges. Let's say most of them I buy them from banks, and you need to have a certain mental quality, a temperament that you can manage under stress and under a crisis environment. So, and because Brian is the perfect mentor, has been, at least for me, in how to manage your mindset, we wrote a book about how to have a certain mindsets to buy distressed assets. And usually when people don't like a certain area, that's where the most money is. The less sexy, the better it is for your ROI.
You mentioned that you were in a refugee camp at 12 when you read the first book at the time. How did you end up in a refugee camp there?
So my parents were against the regime in Iraq back then, against Saddam Hussein. And my parents were very active in the political camp, and that's why they had to flee from Iraq, from Baghdad, and we ended up in Netherlands, in Rotterdam.
How did that experience influence you in becoming the man you are today?
Well, that's very funny that you asked that. I had a very interesting conversation with my team last week about that, and when I think for me it was one of the most beautiful and learning experiences to live in a refugee camp, because you always think that your problem is a huge problem until you meet people who have been mentally, physically, sexually abused, people from all around the world, from Ethiopia to Syria to Africa to South America, and then you think, what the heck am I complaining about? And if you discover this when you're 12, it had a huge impact on me, and since then I decided whatever problem I have, I don't have tomorrow to think about where I'm gonna sleep and what I'm gonna eat, like almost 2/3 of the world today. Every day they have a kind of a basic problem. So that it had affected me in such a way that every problem now I get, I don't see that problem. I see it as a learning experience. I see it as a feedback from the universe that next time I do certain things in a different way. And I think life is about a huge adventure, learning adventure. So that's how I reframe it in my mindset. And I would like to invite your listener, your audience, to explore that part within themselves.
That's fascinating. Sometimes I've been interviewing a lot of incredible people like yourself, and is how we interpret some experiences that we had in our life that then makes them see if it's a positive or a negative, or a drama and a tragedy, or an opportunity at the same time.
Like Jim Rohn said, the father of all the gurus, he said, it's not the experience that matter, it's the meaning that you give to the experience.
People sometimes take me as crazy because I was happy I made myself homeless sometimes, and people don't understand it. And I say, what do you mean you made yourself homeless? And that was the best experience of your life? I'm like, yeah, but you can understand what I mean. And everyone here is listening, as Noah suggested, explore that within yourself. I want to, before we go into the topic of writing books and collaborating with the top 1% of every industry, I have one more question. We are here at this Freedom X Fest in Spain, and yesterday I was walking close to the bar area, and there was some salsa music. And now there was one person that was busting these moves, and I'm like, man, that's good. And that was you. And you told me that you learned salsa dancing in a very short period of time, and I can say, you're good. You're damn good. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yes, that actually I used to have a friend, and she's one of my best friends, and for 5 years she's number one salsa dancer in Netherlands. And for 5 years she asked me, "Come, I'll teach you salsa. You love it." I said, "No, no, no. I hate salsa. I don't like the music. I have two left feet." And then one day she told me, she shared dreams with me, and she said, "My dream is to dance one day salsa with you." So I felt actually pretty an asshole to ignore for 5 years that dream of her. So I came back. That was in Thailand, and when we came back to Netherlands on the 7th of January, I started to take 3 hours of lesson every day for 9 months. And then on her birthday, on 29th of September, 9 months later, I called Melissa Fernandez, which back then was the number one salsa dancer in the world. And I told her, "Look, I want to give a show to my friend with you." And she loved the idea. I paid her ticket. She came. We trained for 2 weeks, and I gave a show on her birthday. And it was an amazing experience in front of 300 people. The thing that I learned the most, and I always say in my courses and trainings, I give this as an analogy for the power of immersion. Whenever someone asks me, "Okay, you speak so many languages, how can I also learn a new language, and how long will it take me, or how long will it take me to become millionaire or financially independent?" I always answer, "How long do you want it that it takes you?" Most people take salsa lessons once a week. Now, if you do it 3 hours a day, after 1 month, you have a 3-year experience of that other guy that have 1 hour lesson a week. And you can use that with anything. If you want to be a public speaker, if you want to be a coach, instead of coaching 1-2 clients per week, take 1-2 paying clients, and the rest go to universities, go to people who need it, and just give it for free until you're so amazing that people cannot ignore you anymore. That's my 50 cents on the power of immersion.
Such a powerful learning, and that comes with saying that if you want to become the best at something, you gotta put the work in. That's it. There is no other way. The more work you put into something, the more of the right work, let's put it this way, the more of the right work you put into something, the better you become. I know you want to say something. You're there like dying to get the microphone back.
No, I want to add, I think it's indeed very true. It's how much are you willing to put sweat in it. But that there is also a shortcut in that sweat. You see, it's unnecessary to make unnecessary mistakes. And one of the ways that gives you a shortcut is to get a mentor. Not a coach, not a consultant, but a mentor. Someone who is there where you want to be. Someone who had the walk and did the path that you are walking now. And what I do, I always have some mentors in my life, in health, in mindset, in business, in investing. But I also have a peer group that support me, that's kind of the same level, where we give each other cues, where we open our network and our ideas to each other. And I also have a group of people that I mentor. And these 3 type of people, you know what they say, you learn the most when you teach. So by helping others to grow, by being in a circle of people that are the same level as you, and by having mentors, these 3 types of elevators will help you much faster to go where you want to go.
Now let's talk about becoming an authority in your field by collaborating with the top 1% of the influencers that there are in the market. The first question that I have about this is a lot of people think it is impossible. Someone say, "Well, I would never be able to approach Brian Tracy, and say, who am I for them to say yes?" So let's start exploring about how easy or difficult it is to approach them, and then we can move on into how to approach them and what other things do we need to be aware, not to make some very silly and expensive mistakes. It seems to be the theme of today. How can we avoid people to make mistakes that could be avoidable? But before, let's start with, is it easy? Is it difficult? Tell us your experience.
So when you say mistakes, like for me, actually not writing a book as early as possible in your professional life is also a mistake, even if it's not considered to be a mistake. So it's mostly about not maximizing your own potential. And how to achieve that potential? Obviously, we live today in a world of social acceptance and social structure. So by having that social authority in your own field, you raise your authority, and clients and partners will be much more open to work with you and to collaborate with you. And one door will lead to another. So how to get to the 1%, 1 promille dinosaurs in your industry is mostly to inventorize who they are, approach them, be in the same events they are, and create a win-win situation and win-win offer that will help them achieve what they want. And that is the most important part. What they want comes usually from why they want it. So my role usually is to find out why they're doing what they're doing. Why are they writing books? Why are they giving talks and giving seminars and congresses? And by understanding their why, I fulfill their why by writing an offer that match their why. That has been a very successful formula by writing, by finding these people and collaborating with them and creating that win-win situation. Obviously, a lot of people don't have the time and the energy and the team to find out what makes them tick, what is interesting for them to do, and then you can outsource this part to agencies or to a company like ours. Or so that's something that it depends how much energy and time do you want to invest to find out who these people are and what they want.
So some people might say, well, but they have everything. Like, what can I provide which can add value to them? There are thousands of people that might approach them, and anything they want, they got so much money, so much fame, so much reputation that they could have it. So what little old me, even if I find what they want, would be able to provide?
Well, that's very true, that a lot of people have that mentality. And with a lot of people, it's going to be very hard. But you don't need 10 persons in your field or in your niche to write a book with. You need only one person or two persons. And then from there, you can build. So, plus the dinosaurs, the people that have achieved financial, mental, and a lot of success in their life, once they achieve a certain age, their goal in life is just to give back. And if they see a young person who is serious, who is successful, and who is go-getter, most people want to help that person. And if they can make money out of it and touch and influence even more people than they already do, it's almost a no-brainer. And obviously you have to search and find out what exactly are they looking for.
That's such a good advice. That's such a brilliant advice. I was able to do some great events with Gary Vaynerchuk, with Les Brown, did a preview for Tony Robbins, and at the time I had these thoughts at the beginning. Who am I to be able to approach these people, or who am I to be able to approach these organizations? But I remember that I never let those thoughts, even if they were there, affect me. And most of the time it was just the first introduction, or saying, hey, I love your work, I know you have this going on, how can I help you? And there is something that helped me out when a speaker in particular, they might have tours in different countries. What do they need is more people in the room. That's if you want to approach a big influencer in your niche and they're running an event in your local area, what they need is more people in the room. If you approach them and say, I do whatever I can, I cannot make any promise. If you have a big list already, awesome. If you approach them and say, hey, I cannot make any promise, but I would love to help you out because I love to connect with you and see, you're already part of the team. They're not going to turn you down because you're helping them already in what they need the most. Now, someone wants to create, and right now you might hear a bit of rain in the background. So we had a day which was sunny, rainy, sunny, rainy, sunny, rainy. So if someone wants to create this kind of book deals, and now needs to approach them, and they say that they are interested in, what kind of things do they need to be aware of? What kind of contracts do we put in place? From your experience, what do these people want? So then we can have an edge when we approach them.
So first of all, they want to make sure that you have a kind of authority already in your niche. They don't want that you are just starting. That's number one. Number two is they would love that you already have a following, that you already have some kind of influence and some niche where you are working in. Another thing, obviously, is the monetization part. They would like to be paid for their time and for the energy and spread their work. And you're gonna have to write the book with them, but usually they write a small part of it, and you'll have to do most work of it: the publishing, the editing, the proofreading. So it's not something that's going to be done in 2-3 months. You'll have to take a whole year for it before you finish the book.
And is it better, in your opinion, to have to also give this opportunity to other people? Because I've seen this model in use with other influencers, where they will be the owners of the project. So let's say I want to write a book with Brian Tracy. I will contact Brian Tracy. Brian Tracy agrees. I will pay Brian Tracy's fee for writing the book. But now, is it worth it? And I want to hear your opinion. Is it better to just keep it between me and Brian Tracy, or is it also worth it giving this opportunity to other people and other authors that want to be part of it, and then share the charges or make money in that way? What are your thoughts around it?
So I definitely believe in the growing by giving principle, and the more you help other people, the more your life will be much easier. There's actually a book that is one of my Bibles, written by Keith Ferrazzi. It's called Never Eat Alone. I would advise anyone to read that book just to understand the abundance mentality and how you can help other people look good. That's what you actually do. You help them look good in their industry, look good to their clients, to their employees, to their partners, and by doing that, they'll be eternally grateful for that opportunity. So yes, I share this opportunity with anyone that I think has the power, the knowledge, and the authority to write a book with a dinosaur like Brian Tracy or Kevin Harrington. So yeah, definitely share it with other people.
I would love to know a bit more about also your experience with when approaching this kind of deals. What mistakes have you made that you wish that, knowing what you know now, you could avoid? You could have avoided at that time when you did your first deal with one of these dinosaurs.
The first thing that comes up into my mind is taking too long before taking action. Thinking that you're not good enough yet, or that you need to have a bigger number of turnover or a bigger number of clients or a bigger number of followers before actually taking action and approaching the experts or the gurus. That was my biggest mistake. I should have done this like 10 years ago. So and if anyone can fast track this action, I would love to help them.
And if someone wants to work with you, what is the process? Because I know you have an agency where you facilitate those kind of deals as well. So can you give an outline of if someone now is thinking, well, I would love to do it, but I don't have the connection, I don't have the right people in my network or the right resources, what is the kind of work that you put in place to help them out?
So first, we identify in which niche they are, who are their clients, who is their public, and from there we will identify which writers will match their profile, and then we'll approach the writer and introduce the client if it fits that writer. That's usually in a nutshell how we do it. They will have like a book that is written by them and the writer and the guru with their picture on the cover of the book, and they can send that to partners, to clients, to potential clients. And the beauty of it is that you really see a huge change between before and after. People will take you way more serious when they see, hey, you've written a book with a dinosaur. So I think that's something that's a big takeaway, that once you have that authority, you only need one client to make the ROI worth it for you. And that's something that people can contact me on our website or on my email, and we can take it from there.
And if someone is saying, well, but how much money like do I need to account for this? Is it gonna be super expensive? I mean, what's the reality? Is this super expensive? Is this cheap? Is affordable? What is? And of course, having the awareness that money is always relative. What's expensive for someone can be peanuts for someone else. So that's the assumption. But if you have to give an idea to people, say, this is how much you need to consider, because otherwise you're way off budget. And for some people, it might be, oh, just that?
So budget-wise, you have to think between 15 to 25,000 euro. Depends on the writer, depends how many books you want to be printed so you can send to your clients and partners. It depends on some variables, but you have to think between these two outlines.
That's brilliant. Which, if you guys, and this is the thing, this project is not for someone who is starting out. I personally would not recommend if someone is completely starting out and you don't have a back end in your business that can sustain this investment as well. And in particular, not to say, but in particular, monetize it. Because it's about, can you make your return back? And if you don't have a business already, you're starting out, put the basics of your business first in place. But if you already have a business and you know that the extra exposure, your extra credibility can give you a client that can pay you 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, 20,000. As Noah said, you might just need one good client from that exposure and that credibility that you get to make your money back. So if you know what you're doing, this is an incredible opportunity for you to not only get extra reach, but also to create that very powerful brand that is needed to attract a certain kind of clients. Because some kind of clients, we don't even look at you if you haven't done this kind of partnerships. So it's up to you and to your up leveling. Now, I want to go into the last part of the interview, which is called Lifting the Veil. And that's where we share something that you do or you use on a daily or weekly basis that everyone should be aware of. What is that for you, Noah?
So I have two things that I think every entrepreneur and every authority figure have to do to be more successful in their field. Number one, I read a lot of books. I think at least 50, 60 books a year. And sometimes these information, the highlights of information, I love to read them in Kindle. I used to not like digital reading. I like the physical book. But since I discovered that actually I can send all the highlights to an Evernote automatically through an app called clippings.io. And at the end of the month, I reread my summaries in Evernote. And after 6 months, I read them again. And the beauty of rereading them twice is that it goes from short-term memory it moved to long-term memory. And because I read so many books, I'm addicted to that app. I could not live without this app. So it's called Clippings. Another takeaway that I would like to give to the audience is get from the start of your career, invest energy in as much as possible in a very good right hand. An assistant, an executive assistant that will help you focus on your business to work on your business instead of in your business. And that is something that I would definitely advise any entrepreneur to spend more time finding the right person. Like how Mind Valley does it, hire slow and fire fast. So the hiring slow, I spend a lot of time to finding the right person.
Yeah, such two great tips. For those of you book junkies out there, definitely you will love Clippings. And I couldn't agree more about having the right-hand person and the right people in your team, because they will make your life easier, and you can be focused on the work that you should be doing instead of answering every email that comes into your inbox. No, it's been such a great interview. If people want to reach out to you, get in touch with you, work with you, where is the best place?
They can reach out to me on my website, noahleith.com, or they can send me an email at noah@noahleith.com, which I'm sure we're going to put on your website. And from there, we can take it to the next step.
Brilliant. So the links are in the show notes, and also the email is in the show notes. Make sure that you reach out to Noah, in particular, if you want to create this kind of book deals that can change your business literally. I can say in this case overnight. I can say this kind of things can change your business overnight, because that's what happened when I had just events with Les Brown, with Gary Vee, and so on. And that literally, the way that people were seeing me and approaching me was different. And that's just an event. With a book together that is there for the rest of your life to show, if you have the right backend in your business, that's the thing that can put all the work that you've done in the past years to build your business where it is right now, literally to the next level. So make sure you get in touch with Noah. Noah, thank you very much. Great interview.
Thank you very much for having me.
Now, in this under this rainy day that we are having here, it's time to wrap up this incredible interview. So if you haven't subscribed yet, click that sexy, juicy subscribe button that is calling you right now. Yes, and tap. Beautiful. Well done. Thank you very much for subscribing to the show, and leave us a review. Of course, 5-star. And let us know, what did you enjoy the most about this episode. Up until next time, have a fantastic day, and remember that together we grow exponentially. Bye for now.